Hi guys, this is Breaker. I went ahead and took this replay from the casted section, the sub forum of the StarCraft Reddit forum, if you will, and looks like we got some diamond level play. I really don't mind casting it at all. As long as it's action packed, it's full of action. Well, I mean, full of action. Jeez, as long as it's action packed and entertaining, I do not mind casting any replays whatsoever. But let's go ahead and get both players introed. In the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our Terran in the red trunks, his name is BillyZane. Yeah. In the lower right-hand corner, our blue Zerg, I give you all Stabsturbate. After this, I think I'm just gonna call him Stab because, well, his name is borderline not safe for work. But of course, it's also a lot of syllables to pronounce. Things that are going on lately, things that are trending right now. DreamHack is going on, as you all know. I think I could probably get in on it and cast it if I wanted to, but I mean, the problem is there's no Chinese talent, and when I do cast Western events, 9 times out of 10, I'm speaking Chinese to cast it, but, you know, because there's no Chinese talent, I don't think anyone's really going to tune in to watch my stream, especially considering most streamers in China tend to stream to a website called Fengyun Zhibo and not, Twitch.tv, although there are still plenty of people who use Twitch.tv in China, if not in Chinese-speaking regions. IG Chuan, coming from Malaysia, gets sometimes around 9,000 viewers whenever he streams himself playing Dota. And let me think. Xiaosa, as well as the Neo TV crew, love to use Fengyun Zhibo, as well as Twitch.tv sometimes. Sometimes they'll do it at the same time. Pretty standard openings from both players thus far, but something I find a little risky from Stab is he's not using a drone to scout, which I feel is essential in the TVT matchup. Of course, ZVZ is another story. He's not going to know about the Reaper coming out. He might be expecting it, but at the same time, he's gone up to 17 drones. He's had more than enough mineral income to throw down a Vespene Geyser. He's not doing so yet, so I'm a little curious to see how he handles this upcoming situation. You know, if he's going to lose anything or anything of that nature. Realistically speaking, Reapers in the early game TVZ, they're not so much used to really kill workers as they are to... They do economic damage, yes, but typically the way they are used is to delay mining time. As long as you make one Reaper and you micro its heart out, then you're gonna get you're gonna get at least some delayed mining time. Extractor just finishing up in the main of Stab, and the Reapers arrive. He sees that there's no drones, and he's just gonna go straight into the main. There are 2 queens on the way. They're almost done, but the Lings are getting caught off creep, and it looks like we have BillyZane concentrating on the Lings, not so much the drones. Fun fact of the day, on creep, slow Lings can chase and catch up to Reapers. But, I don't know, and see, that's exactly what he wanted to do. His goal was achieved. He wanted to pull drones off the line, which he did. And, this is actually rather dangerous. Okay, second Reaper arrives to the party, but it looks like it could be taken down relatively soon if he's not careful with how he uses it. He's moving out on creep. And the combat drugs are just not taking effect. Whew. Guy ends up out just in time. This really is a rather aggressive Zerg. BillyZane, behind all this, did decide to take his Expo. So that's another thing that Reapers are good for in all essence. They basically allow the Terran to keep the Zerg on the defensive, keep them from moving out, keep them from really going in and inflicting any damage or delaying the Expo for Terran. And also, one thing that they do, if we'll check and see just how many Lings there are here, there's 9. I believe 1 or 2 were killed. So that's basically 5 larvae that we've seen that were not turned into drones. And now, this is what I love about BillyZane. He's using those Reapers as effectively as possible. He has like 3 kills on each one, it seems. No, 5 kills altogether. And if we check the units, the losses right now, it's actually favoring, you know, kind of favoring BillyZane. But moreover, it's also forcing Stab to stay in his base until he's got Metabolic Boost finished, because those Lings can never chase down the Reaper without, excuse me, the Reapers without what's the word I'm looking for? They can, and that was actually pretty big just now. He actually managed to delay the third of Zerg. Ideally, when a Terran does a gas opening, most Zergs want to try and get their third hatch around 6 minutes 30 seconds. It's now past 7 minutes, and we see that basically, you know, BillyZane, he's controlling the map, and he's actually setting Stab back quite significantly behind this. But we do see that Stab is going ahead and throwing down his Baneling nest. I almost said it in Chinese. Sorry about that. Gotta straighten myself out. That's a thing. When I'm playing StarCraft, sometimes I like to speak Chinese, you know, just get my stream viewers to kind of tune in, that kind of thing. And so far, Stab is basically forced to be contained. The Ling's trying to get us around on the Hellions. Didn't quite work out. And it's going to be even more dangerous with the current situation, because we see that there are now 4 Hellions here and 2 Reapers. They move at about the same speed. Let's check here. 375 and 425. But I'm guessing, like, maybe, just maybe, the Hellions can help kind of soccer ball the Reapers around. And the Lings are moving out. Are they going to get a surround? They are, but is it going to be an effective surround? They get 1, 2 Hellions, I think. Actually, a Reaper and a Hellion. Not bad, not bad. Considering that, more or less, you have to pay gas to get these units. Looks like I have a barcode friend that just signed on. I want to think that it is possibly Shigua. I'm not entirely sure. I have to figure that out sooner or later. There we go. Hellions now going to try and put some pressure on the third. They couldn't really get a practical, what's the word I'm looking for, prevention on it, and this is diamond level reflexes, diamond level mechanics. The problem is, we just saw that basically BillyZane lost all of his Hellions without killing a good deal of Lings there, excuse me, and that puts his losses slightly above that of Stab right now. It's not going to help him out too much. Oh, and that is a lot of Lings here. And he has the ability to turn these Lings into Banelings, which is exactly what we see happening now. But there are 2 Widow Mines here. I'm thinking what could happen is that the bunker is going to fall, and then the Widow Mines are going to basically connect with the remaining Banelings, if not Zerglings. If not, Stab could... It's entirely possible that Stab could actually go up here. You can see that there's Widow Mines, and he could elect to back off from there. But again, you know, it's all going to depend on just the reactions of Stab. He's got more than enough to raffle stomp what his opponent has right now, and he's got another path into the base of his opponent. He just doesn't know it. Oh boy, and there it is. The Ling's going in, the Widow Mines make sick connections, and it looks like we have a beautiful surround here, sort of, from Stab. He's not quite getting everything, but now he's doing a lot of damage. And if he can get these SCVs, that would make it even better for him. But they're all on the refinery. We have Banelings morphing right here. The question is, are we going to see, you know, Billy in a position where he can defend against this? I think he's going to be forced to lift off here. Some of the SCVs do kind of run away. It's the, you know, and this is really going to set BillyZane back in terms of economy. Ouch! Widowmine goes off getting a... Oh my god! This is going to be absolutely sick when it connects. Ouch! All of those SCVs, save for 4 of them, were just massacred. Checking the units lost right now, I mean, just looking at what we see here, I mean, sure, both players have high losses in terms of resource costs, but if you just get a look at the workers killed right now, 23, and then check and see how many workers it is compared to how many workers. Wow, it's actually 33 for Stab. Ooh, and the Widow Mine's not helping, not really helping out BillyZane too terribly much. But if we just check and see who was willing to say maybe, ouch, these Lings getting into the main, it's just getting worse and worse and worse for Billy. Of course he's gonna be able to handle this just fine, sure, because there's no more Lings streaming in, but the question is just how much will his losses amount to when this is all said and done? 9 Lings in the main, we have a few Marines and a few SCVs. It's, you know, it's not going to take a miracle for him to hold, but it's going to take a miracle for him to come back from this. It's 19 workers to 45. 18 workers to 45, and behind this, we saw that Stab was just like, okay, well, I got into the main, I did some damage because he left his ramp down. So now I think it's time to go ahead and just macro up. And that is the appropriate choice. When you're ahead, get further ahead. One thing that I want to highlight before this attack began was that Stab had basically elected to cut workers and go straight into offensive unit production. He then went into the mineral line and caused all kinds of economic havoc. And here we go, the mules are actually what's saving BillyZane right now, bringing him back into the game. The biggest problem is he's going to have to get lots of Marines out, which is not a bad choice. He's capable presently of making 4 at a time. It will soon be 6 at a time, yes. 7 at a time if you include this one with the tech lab on it. But here we go. It looks like we accidentally got a drone thrown into the mix here. No, the drone's actually going for a base here. Yes. What appears to be kind of I don't know. I always call this base the pocket bottom right. I should call this the pocket. I call this one the pocket bottom right as well. I should call it the pocket 3 o'clock position, if you will. Right now, we actually see a substantial number of Widow Mines. Versus just Lings and Banelings, I think for Stab, we're not going to see him do too terribly much in the way of damage. But, you know, it's all going to come down to this round, and these Widow Mines need to burrow if they're going to go defensive. And of course, when the Banelings detonate on top of the Widow Mines, it'll only take 2 or 3 of them to do it because they are light units, and here we go! How's this going to pan out? Oh no! Huge mistake by BillyZane. He unburrows everything, and now we have just absolutely everything here just getting decimated by Stab. You know, he picks up all of his Bioforce and he goes... It looks like he's going to try and go straight into the main with it, but this is just increased economic deficit that we're going to see here. I mean, excuse me, I did hit that by accident. I meant to hit this. You know, that's 29 workers right now compared to the 68 of Stab. I just don't, you know... I don't know how he's going to be able to hold this. You know, he has a 3rd orbital command, yes, and when... I think there's a chance he could come back from this, but it's not that great right now. He has to do a drop, he has to kill workers, he has to create economic deficit for our Zerg. And here we go, some stemmed up Marines going out. It looks like he's trying to yank them into the Widow Mines. Excellent choice with maybe 1 or 2 losses there in terms of Marines. Effective trade nonetheless. But at the same time, those Widow Mines will not be able to be used defensively in the future, at least not in the near future. We have to wait another 20 seconds for that Widow Mine to reload, and Baneling connections are here. Oh! And everything connects. Beautiful split by BillyZane. He manages to take down everything that knocked down his front door. Okay, move. Alright. So now what we have to see Stab do is he has to use all 5 of his bases as best as he can. He's got a few drones here that are basically unrallied. He did, you know, let's just check the economy right now. He's got twice the workers of his opponent, not including mules. And pretty soon we're going to see BillyZane's economy temporarily, if nothing else, skyrocket. He needs to, okay, he did kill the rocks here, and he needs to make a full wall off here. He needs to get a better spread on those Widow Mines as well. Keeping them grouped up like this is not going to make for effective Sentinel missile use. They will connect with basically the same, they're going to connect with the same front cluster of Zerglings, if that makes sense. They need to be spread out in a method that is typical of, say, oh, I'm sorry, I thought these SCVs were attacking the Marines. I'm like, what's that all about? Sorry. Anywho, they need to be spread out much in the same way that we would see the Lings and Banelings of a, excuse me, not the Lings and Banelings, but instead the tanks and Marines would be split up versus maybe a Zerg that was going, I'm thinking Ling and Fester. And now we see drops going down everywhere. Yes, and I'm a little curious, just how does our Terran have vision of this? He doesn't, but he's just trying to basically make drops happen everywhere. This is the best way to counteract a Zerg player. Full wall off of supply depots going down here, and drop number 1 is going to be at this base, trying to take down the gas income of Stabsturbate, and of course this drop gets picked up on. The mutas are of course out as they should have been. And, you know, focusing on the perspective of Terran, he's doing pretty okay. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. There's only 2 Marines over here. There's a lot more Marines up here, and he's actually inflicting a lot of economic damage. making the drops happen all at the same time is just so much better for Terran because it really taxes the Zerg's multitasking. He managed to take down the upper right 5th base, but the fourth down here, what seems to be the pocket bottom right, I'm calling it the pocket bottom right, not the pocket 12 o'clock. Ooh, and a drop down going in the main. If he can get the spawning pool, that would be huge, especially if this attack at the front line is going to fail. Look at this. Oh my god, the Widow Mine connections are sick. Is BillyZane going to make a comeback from this? The spawning pool just fell. All we have in production right now is 15 mutas. And mutas versus Marines, they will fall apart in a heartbeat. My god, it's hard to believe that once this, at one point in this game, I thought BillyZane was on the edge of defeat. Not once, but actually twice. We have a lot of mutas here, a huge flock of them, but we need to see Billy realize that he needs a spawning pool to win this. Where on earth is it? Is he rebuilding it? I don't know. It was almost 30 seconds ago. He forgot that he lost it. Now we have a lot more missile turrets going down defensively, but with this huge flock of mutas, they're going to be able to basically one-shot the turrets as they come. Yes, and the mules will drop here. They will fall, but that's a lot of stemmed up Marines. The question is, who is going to win this? Right now we need... Oh my god! The mutas cannot go toe-to-toe with Marines, especially in those numbers. And it looks like the mutas are coming back in here, trying to do more gas damage, if you will. This is going to really hurt our Terran's gas income. Lots of Widow Mines going down in defensive positions, yes, but the problem is the positioning could be just a little bit better. If he could put them right here, that would be absolutely devastating. If 2, 3, 4 mutas could make... If 2 or 3 Widow Mines could make connections with these mutas, then it would be absolutely sick. Like, we would basically see BillyZane in a position where he would be free to recover, and just now do we see the spawning pool going down. The question I want to know is... Or the question I need the answer to is just how many drones is it? 53 right now to the 34 of our Terran. Income right now for Terran is actually measurably greater, especially considering that he has mules and he knows how to defend. He needs to put these SCVs back on the mineral line. No number of missile turrets is actually going to help Stab really survive. Or no number of missile turrets is really going to help BillyZane survive, and it looks like economic damage will be inflicted yet again. Missile turrets being targeted. These mutas are, of course, +1. And ouch, the third does get cancelled. It looks like Billy's in a bit of trouble. And that's the beautiful thing about Terran. If you think you can do good crisis management like this, then you know, by all means, be my guest. Puts on a great show. The only problem is BillyZane, he kind of screwed up there. He's just now putting the SCVs back on the line. He needs some kind of vision. I would say putting 1 or 2 burrowed Widow Mines out here in the open would do very good, especially given the fact that Stab does not have detection. The Marines just moved out and just missed that huge flock of nothing but massive mutas. And my god, nearly one-shotting this orbital command right here. If he could go in and get that... Oh my god, a huge chunk of mutas just fell. I don't know, if he could have actually gone back and gotten that one orbital command, one shot orbital command and taken it down, it would have been so much worse for BillyZane, because it's the mules. It's not so much the SCVs that matter, but the mules that will matter at this stage in the game the most. And it looks like we have BillyZane just basically turtling up, trying to get his numbers back up. I don't know if he has any upgrades on these Marines, but it doesn't... Oh my god, he's at 3-3, and it's nothing but Marines and Widow Mines. Here we go, Stab. He actually does not have any Banelings, which are the more critical part of unit composition that he will need. He's just now morphing them. Bad timing, bad positioning, bad everything about this. This will not go over well for Stab. Ouch. The Widow Mines go off, and they're making sick connections, but with the number of Marines that we see here, all he has to do is have excellent split, which he does, and he will be able to deal with a number of those substantially. The mutas are getting surrounded, and it looks like we slowly but surely had Billy kind of prevail just a little bit, and the worst choice that I could have imagined is now being taken as we see Stab just continuing to crank out more mutas. Mutas are not the ideal units versus Marines. Main leads on. If we're gonna go back here into the main and check it out, it looks like, oh my god, he only had +1 carapace. No wonder. If he could at least make sick Baneling connections, then upgrades would almost be completely irrelevant. Oh my god, the Mutas just got taken down, and without even saying GG, we have Stabsturbate leaving the game. He was defeated. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked what you saw here today, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button to this YouTube channel. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time. By the way, I just had my coffee.